everybody. So thank you for joining us.
There, it's live.
Thank you for joining us for the Soul Healing Community, the first, very, very first inauguration of our Soul Healing Community. I have with me Jax the Heartist. Say hi. And Sarah, can you just wave so that everybody knows who you are? You will be hearing a lot
Hello.
from her. Because she does a lot of the admin and makes sure that you get the information you need. You'll see her name everywhere and you'll receive emails from her. So please, she is incredibly important. Um, so I think the first thing we want to cover is why we are doing this and why we thought it's a good idea to, um, schedule these conversations with the soul healing community. Jax, do you want to expand a little bit on that?
So I think let's start off maybe with the soul healing community, Caro, because there's a bigger context than just the soul healing adventure.
Yes.
And what we're really trying to do, and what we saw need for from some of the webinars that we've been chatting on and having people engage with, is just a space where people can come and share where they are and some of the things that they're actually experiencing in their own life journeys at a spiritual, a soul level, a human level, some of the challenges, because I think a lot of people, there's so much chaos going on in the world at the moment. We're in massive time of change and transformation and upheaval and uncertainty. And so, like, my heart's desire is to create a space for people to come together, to share in a safe space, to be supported, to be heard, and to journey together in, you and I both have like a massive skill set to be able to support and help people on their journeys. And so that, like, for me, it feels just great to actually open up a space where people can come and share.
Yeah, exactly. So um, I think Jax has captured that beautifully. So we'll be running once a month. We will be hosting a soul healing community conversation like this. So how it will work is, and we'll put the schedule up for you so that you can diarize the dates, and we'll be creating a Facebook event so that you can, it will send you reminders and things like that. So how it will work is we will broadcast live to Facebook. But if you want to join the conversation and chat with us, we would need you to hop onto the Zoom link. And Sarah is going to pop the Zoom link into the comments of this live video. So you are very welcome to join us right now. Whether you've RSVP'd or not, you can hop on and start, the conversation with us. We'd love, love, love that. Absolutely. So let's continue. I think let's tell everybody what we're doing here. We've talked about the meetings themselves, the conversations that we're going to have every month. But what is Soul Healing Adventures all about?
Yeah, so I think the conversation starts the adventure or the journey, and we are sort of launching this initiative with a trip in a travel adventure. And I guess there we can talk a little bit about, last year in September, I was on a trip to Italy, and it was just like, I found it was such a sort of expansive kind of experience to just step outside of my comfort zone and what I know and what's familiar. And it was actually a massive dream, Caro, that I'd had many, many years ago, 10 years ago, to go to Italy.
Yes.
And so that was the manifestation of a dream. And like, I think these soul healing adventures are almost like inviting people into that dream space. Like, is there a place where you've actually dreamt of going, but you didn't really want to go on your own, or you didn't know how you were going to get there, or you didn't know what you were going to do when you were there? And so, like, I think Soul Healing Adventures is born out of that desire to really enable people to expand themselves, and also to, like, just there's a sort of internal journey and there's an external journey.
Mm.
So that's what makes this sort of different from a normal kind of just travel adventure, is the external journey is to go to a place like Bali, that's the first of our adventures on the agenda, which is just in and of itself one of the most beautiful countries, like from a nature perspective, and just has so much cultural richness to offer, and is also a major healing hotspot.
Mm.
So I think the idea of creating a journey that is curated, that has both an external expansion and awakening, as well as we've put quite a lot of thought into how do we support an internal journey as well at the same time. So you've got both an internal and an external journey happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sort of this is, like I said, the first of many of these kind of adventures, whether they be the online conversations taking us on an adventure together, or the actual physical manifestation of a travel experience at the end of it.
Yeah. So I think, I was telling Jax and Sarah earlier that I have not been this excited about something for a very long time. I am so excited. My experience comes from conferencing and events. And I've recently, the last few years, I've been practicing as an NLP practitioner and a coach. And this so beautifully puts all my skill sets together. So, and to go to Bali, I've never been there. And I just heard the most amazing things about it. I think it's going to be a really special experience. What's also nice about it is we've called it Soul Healing Adventures. So the name captures the inner journey as well as the outer journey. And the reason why it's an adventure is it's not all about serious hard work. There is going to be work, but it needs to be work that you want, that you're needing right now, which is why we're starting these conversations, because we can't plan something for you that you need if we don't know what you need. So, this is why we're doing this. But the adventure part, which is all about having fun. I mean, if you go and ask somebody, when last have you really had fun? That day where when you lie down in bed that night, you just feel overwhelmed with such, happiness and inner joy and fulfillment. And if you ask someone, I can bet you that they can't remember when last they felt like that. When last have you laughed spontaneously, without having to try and catch yourself? And that's
Mm.
also part of it. Hey, Jax,
Mm.
you want to?
Definitely. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Caro, like, I personally have been on a healing journey for many, many years of my life. I think from when I was about 35 years old, and I'm sort of 53 years old now. And I've spent many, many years in the healing spaces, both healing myself and then being a healer and a coach for many other people on the journey. And at some point you reach a point where you say, I don't want to work hard on healing anymore. I actually just want to live my life and allow whatever healing needs to happen naturally. And I think that's sort of the aim in designing this kind of experience, is really to set intentions for ourselves in terms of what is the kind of healing or shift that we want to see happening during the course of the adventure, and then sort of designing little snippets of fun sort of activities to do along the way. That, yeah, there are practices. And I think whether you're healing or whether you are living an awakened kind of experience in connection with your own soul and your own spirit, it requires certain practices that actually lead to sort of a more expansive kind of life experience.
Mm.
So yes, we'll be sharing some of those kind of tools and practices and that you can take away at the end of the journey, to bring you into a deeper connection with yourself, with your spirit, with your purpose, with a higher consciousness. So that's sort of all playing at the back of my mind in terms of design.
Mm.
But really, it is about having fun
Yeah.
and going to this amazingly beautiful place and having these amazing, light-hearted, playful experiences. And also then the other part is to go with a group of people and to develop like friendships with these people. It's designed to like real open-hearted connections with people from around the world. So, and often what I've found on the retreats that I've designed and run before is the people who come really connect at a very deep level, and they maintain those connections. So every retreat, when they come back to the next retreat, it's the same people, and it's like coming back together with old friends. And then also they maintain those connections beyond just the retreat. And so you really are building like heart connections through the kind of people who are attracted to these kind of experiences and what we create on the actual adventure.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that is just absolutely amazing. I mean, what I've picked up um, is there seem to be a lot of people who may have a lot of people around them, but they're searching for something more, a deeper connection. I've come across people recently who are feeling alone in a crowd and they're looking for their tribe. Um, and there's a lot of people who are actually alone. Um, and I think this is going to be an absolutely beautiful opportunity to grow a tribe of heart-centered individuals, where we can feel safe, we can share, we can be vulnerable if we need to grow as people and to flourish. Um, and that is really the vision behind this whole creation that we have come up with. And I think I'm so excited about the impact that we can have on people's lives by doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Caro, the other thing that was sort of in the back of my mind was that if somebody has a gift, that they want to step into, that they feel is part of their calling or their purpose, what we want to do is create opportunities for the group to actually share that gift. So let's say, for example, I mean, it could be something as simple as you're a great listener
Mm.
and you want to share that gift, and to create an opportunity for somebody to share their story and just listen to them. Or if you do amazing foot massages, and that's the gift you want to share, or you tell great
Yeah.
stories, or you are an artist and you want to hold space for people to do an art process, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you haven't necessarily had the confidence to actually share that gift. Here's an opportunity to share it in a loving, supportive, safe community for the first time, to sort of build your confidence, or just be acknowledged, to
Yeah.
have that gift acknowledged. It's something of value,
Yeah.
that you have value to offer.
It could be your introduction to your claim to fame at the end of the day. And your success.
Exactly.
If you have a gift that you've been developing, maybe you're a good singer, but you only sing in the shower and you would love to share, with other people. And this is an opportunity where it's a safe place for you to
Mm.
share that gift and also gain the confidence of having, shared your gift with other people before you go out there to the big wide world. So, yeah, that's also part of it. And if you do have a gift you want to share with us, and you're wanting to come to Bali or any future retreat or adventure that we're going to be holding, then please do pop that in the comments so that we can be in touch with you and see how we can include you in our future endeavors and activities. Um, yeah, so the next thing is, so we've talked about in a nutshell what we're doing. So it's not, I think, just to summarize, what we've created is more than a retreat. Retreats are really the in thing at the moment, but we want to create something that is far beyond that, that you're not stuck in one place, that, so our whole itinerary and in our next session, which is in April, I think it's the 24th or the 25th of April, Sarah, if you can just pop
24th.
the 24th of, so Thursday, the 24th of April, we're going to have our next session. And what we're going to do then is we're actually going to go through the details. So we're going to go through the itinerary so that you can see what it looks like, how many days we're staying where, what the accommodation looks like. So we'll show you some photos and, some ideas on the actual activity. So we're going to go in a lot more detail. Today, we're merely, introducing the concept to you. So where was I going with this? Oh, yes. So how we've designed the program is that we'll have a day of adventure, a day of healing, and a day of rest, which I think that that's so beautiful. At many of the retreats, if you go and you look online and see what's on offer, there's 2, 3 days, maybe 5 days. I've seen some for 14 days, but they stay in one place. And it seems like they're very intensive and they cover very serious topics and things like that, which is needed. But what we're trying to do is to create something so much more than that. With the fun element, there is going to be heart, soul searching work to be done, but there's also going to be amazing cultural experiences. Go and see the sites in Bali. I mean, we're in one of the most beautiful countries in the world. We have to go and explore. So yeah, so that's how our vision is. And we're going to spend a few days in Ubud, which is more of a city environment where we can see the culture. There's a monkey forest there. We can maybe learn how to cook. There's some cooking classes that we can take. So these are all the kinds of things that we want to talk about with you in the future sessions so that we know what would you like to do. Then we're going and we're moving to the east to go to a beach resort, which is a totally different vibe. And we're going to go for sunrise on Mount Batur and then down to Nusa Penida Island and do some snorkeling with the manta rays. And sure, it's like I'm getting goosebumps when I start thinking about it. So it really is something different. I don't know if you've got anything to add to that, Jax.
Yeah, so Caro, I think what's important for me is like freedom is one of my highest values. And a large part of my life has been going on this journey to actually release myself from all of the things that are keeping me trapped and keeping me stuck. And I think this retreat is designed for people that are really wanting to take a step, a transition in their lives to actually liberate themselves from all of the fears that are holding them back, all of the limiting beliefs that are stopping them from stepping into what they really here to do, their true purpose and calling. And I think that's part of what we're doing but experientially. So it's in the activities that we even choose to do, like going on the swings, that awakens that sense of what does it feel like to connect with your inner child,
Yeah.
and you know, to go swimming underneath the seas, and like what does it feel like to really immerse yourself in a magical world. Um, and the whole idea behind the retreat is also to really understand the Balinese people and how they have designed their lives in such a way that they live spiritually connected, purposeful, joyful, like with joyful hearts. And
Mm.
so part of our journey is really about creating a model for that way of living that we can bring back into our own lives after the retreat. It's not just you go away on a retreat and have a nice time and then you
Yeah.
forget about the experience. It really is, let's understand how to design a life and a lifestyle that is gonna, not one that you have to run away from,
Yeah.
but one that you actually then come and integrate back into your daily life so that you feel purposeful and free and connected and expanded and enabled to actually step into the next phase of your life.
Yeah. So I think
Yeah.
anyone who has traveled already to a foreign country knows what it feels like to experience a different culture and a different way of living and how eye-opening it is. It's really is such an amazing, um, sometimes humbling experience, but an experience of growth as a person to travel. And if you haven't traveled internationally, that's also okay because we're providing you with a safe, you know, space, a safe group of people to go together to experience this. And you will be able to give us input with regards to the nitty-gritties on the itinerary, which I feel is so important because this is for you. Um, yeah. So I think the other thing we need to mention is that once this retreat is over and everybody goes back home, there is an option for them to continue with a support process through us. We will keep the community alive because this is something that's going to carry on and it's going to grow. So it's not like it's going to be an event and then you're going to go home and that's it. Jax, do you want to expand further on that?
I think what I just want to say is to put people's mind at rest. I've been doing retreats. Well, I've been a facilitator and coach for over 25 years in the personal development and spiritual growth space. And running retreats and working with groups of people. Part of what I've built up a competency in doing is holding spaces for groups. So, you know, there's obviously as groups come together, there's dynamics, and, you know, part of holding the space is weaving the conversation. So there's a competency there. Um, I think there's also some preparing, you know, is what do you want to get out of the adventure? So I think that's very important that you understand that we will set you up to make sure that you're very clear on what it is you want to get out of the 15-day experience, and that everything that we're doing along the way is actually designed to then align you with those intentions, so that the whole way through you are actually taking steps towards meeting those intentions. And like Caro said, you know, having some sort of support component after the fact, like we've said, these soul healing conversations or community is going to continue. So that would be sort of the group space to continue the adventure. And then also one-on-one support if that is needed from either Caro or myself going forward. I work with a modality called resonance repatterning, and some of that resonance repatterning is built into the actual retreat design. But that's available after we come back as well.
Great. Yeah. So So basically, we're not going to drop you. We're here for you and to carry you through this as long as you need it. We're here for the long run. um, yeah, so I think we've covered the most of what we wanted to cover today. Have I left anything out, Jax?
Yeah, maybe just who might be interested in going on this kind of adventure, just so that you can see, is it for me? Is it designed for me? Is this something I want to know more about? So the first thing is we are looking for heart-centered dreamers who are going through a life transition because we are heart-centered people. And so, that's why people on my retreats really connect so deeply because I call for heart-centered people because that's who I love working with and I love bringing into my life. And that's why Caro and I connected because we both so heart-centered. So we just resonated immediately when we met. I think when I talk about a major life transition, some of the examples of that are people who are on the brink of retirement and they're about to go on one of the biggest adventures of their life. But often it can be quite daunting because if you don't know what that retirement is going to look like,
Hmm.
um, it can be very, very scary. And so part of that is the adventure is designing, like, what do you want the next phase of your life to actually look like? And um, and that it's aligned with your purpose. Actually, what are you here to do? So that
Yeah.
it feels that every day is actually purposeful. And then we have people who might be going through relationship breakups or divorces, people who might have suffered loss of a partner or a child and are grieving. And there is a healing need in that. And the need to heal in a supportive community, in a supported space with people
Yeah.
who can actually have dealt with that kind of emotion before. So there's a sensitivity towards that. Someone who's feeling burnt out and really needs a break. Um, and so that's why we designed it in a way that's not go, 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 go. It's this time and space to experience the country, but there's also time and space to do nothing. So if you want to take a full day of rest, that is available. And for somebody who doesn't want to take that day, but wants to go out and have an adventure of their own, that leaves the flexibility for that person. Um, there's also people who are corporate professionals and just burnt out and looking for something more meaningful, looking to establish more of a work-life balance, knows that their boundaries are not strong enough and really wants to work on boundary setting, so that they can come back into that balance and really reconnect with themselves. Those are the kinds of people we're looking for. And then obviously there's the adventurers, there's the single people who want to go on an adventure, don't want to go on their own, but are called to travel with a group and they want the connection and renewal. It's for them. And then also I think that those people like who are always caring for everybody else,
Yeah.
the caregivers, the therapists, the coaches, it's always about everybody else. And like this is something you're giving yourself a gift, to actually be cared for, and to care for yourself. So
Absolutely.
that's who I think this is designed for.
Yeah, that's great. And also, midlife crisis when your kids grow up and suddenly they don't need you like they needed you before. You don't have to make lunches in the morning and take them to school because now they can drive themselves. And it's like, oh my word, what am I doing with my life now? That's also another example. And speaking from my own personal experience and from the caring perspective, if you've got parents who are older and you're looking after them, that can take a huge toll on you as a person. So this is a great opportunity for you to, just get away from that for a bit, and regroup and gather your strength and figure out what you want with your life in the future. Um, yeah, so lots to think about.
Yeah, and I think, Caro, people might say, but I can't because I've got these responsibilities. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, where else is the support? You know, I think to be able to do these things, we need to build support structures and we need to start. I think often we believe we don't deserve to be supported or we don't have the support structures or everything rests on our shoulders. And I think that's also it's a program. You know,
Mm.
it's a way of thinking, it's a belief system, and it's important to actually start thinking to ourselves, but there are support structures. So how can I activate them?
And I think
How can I get more support?
I think it's also, like that saying goes, treat yourself like someone you love. A lot of us
Mhm.
get so caught up in daily lives that we put ourselves last. Um, and, by the time we are supposed to do something for ourselves, like take that nice, relaxing bath, you're so freaking tired. You just want to, plonk into bed and do nothing.
Mhm.
Even that lovely bubble bath is too much effort. I don't know if you've felt that way before, but this is your opportunity to start prioritizing yourself. Give yourself a
Mhm.
gift. Um, and yeah, I think it's just so important. People underestimate how important it is to prioritize you. Um, yeah, so I think if you want more information, we have put quite a lot of information on the website. So please go and have a look. It's soulhealingadventure.com. So there's no S at the end. And Sarah, if you could possibly, pop the link to the website um, in the comments as well so that people can access it. We have not made this a cheap budget experience because this is a treat. This is a treat for you. It's a healing experience. So we've looked for really nice accommodation, and we've put decent amounts in, for food and everything so that once you've paid your bit, you will be looked after. We will look after you, and you won't need to worry. Everything is going to be good quality. So it's not an economy experience. um, yeah, but we're going to go through those kind of nitty-gritties at our next one. So if you go and visit our website, have a look, and if you've got any questions, then please hop onto the Zoom link for our next one, which is on sorry, Jax, what was the date again? The 24th of April.
24th. Hmm.
Thursday, 24th of April, 7:30 p.m. South African Standard Time, which is GMT plus 2. If you want to chat to us like we're chatting now, you will be broadcast live on Facebook, just a warning, but then you will need to hop onto the Zoom link. If you're too shy to do that, we totally get that. You're welcome to contact us directly or to pop, your questions in the comments on the lives, and then we will answer you separately. And we'll be starting to develop a frequently asked questions, which we'll be putting up onto the website. So, and we'll gather those from your questions that you ask us. Yeah. Anything else, Jax?
No, not for this evening. I think we've covered quite a lot. And yeah, I think we've
Yeah.
introduced the soul healing community and we've introduced the soul healing adventure, and people know what to do.
And hopefully you guys feel how excited we are because this is just something so amazing. My whole life I've wanted to help people and to have an impact, and this I do believe is my vehicle to do that. So I'm 100% committed, and so is Jax. And bookings are open. So we're going to keep the group fairly small because it's a very personal experience. So, yeah, if you want to hop on and secure your spot, then just go complete the form that's on the website, and then we'll be in touch with you to discuss deposits, payment plans, etc., etc. There are a few options for you as well, so you don't need to come up with the money all in one go. Yeah, so until the next time, I think we can say goodbye. Hey, Jax.
I hope this is a dream that gets you guys all excited as we are.
Yeah,
Something in the future that's, ignites your flame and gives you something to look forward to. I always feel like it's really exciting it's important to have a dream or a goal
yeah.
that pulls you forward into the future. As much as you stay present and you're working towards it in the present moment, it's good to have that dream.
Yeah, awesome. And if you can't make Bali, please let us know what destinations you would love to go to, because we are going to be creating more of these in the future. Hopefully, at least one big one every year, and maybe some smaller ones on the African continent or in South Africa. I don't know. We need to hear what you are looking for and what you're needing. Okay, so. Our website, www.soulhealingadventure.com. Okay, bye.